So we'll move into just two more. Sunday Night Football, Cincinnati +3 at Baltimore, 48.5 points. Is this the game Ja'Marr Chase gets going like he did last year?
I definitely think that game's coming, and I'll try and put my bias as a Ravens fan aside, but these were the games last year where he just absolutely exploded. The Ravens tried to cover him with just single coverage, and much as Marlon Humphrey is an all-pro cornerback when he's on his game, he just got embarrassed by Ja'Marr Chase. I think, we're kind of seeing Ja'Marr Chase be hit with volume to make up for the fact they don't seem to be able to get him going early on in games, and just have to really pepper him with targets in the hope that things are going to come loose as the game goes on. So, yeah, I don't have any problem with people if you're playing, because it's a Sunday night game, right? So I have no problem with people playing Ja'Marr Chase as the captain spot in this one. It feels like people will gravitate towards Lamar Jackson as the captain because of his high ceiling, but Ja'Marr Chase could easily go nuclear here.
And then what about Joe Mixon? He got in the end zone last week, but he had 6 tries, only got in once. The usage is still elite for a season-long player, but can he be counted on in DFS with the low efficiency?
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, his efficiency is just really poor at the minute. Last week he rushed for 2.5 yards per carry, which is just miserable, really. That's almost as bad as Jonathan Taylor did last week. But what's keeping Joe Mixon going is that he's on for a career year in targets. Last week he had 4. He's been consistently part of the passing game every week. And this Ravens defense, there's problems at every level of it, really, and particularly with the linebackers. Patrick Queen just seems to be allergic to tackling, so I'd be fine playing him. Or on the other side of the ball, J.K. Dobbins, he seemed to really get back into the groove of things last week. After week 3, it was his first game back, and he only touched the ball 9 times. Last week, he touched the ball 17 times, scored both a rushing and receiving touchdown. And it's been interesting seeing the Ravens using their running backs a little bit more in the receiving game this year. I know some people fade these running backs on teams where there's dual threat quarterbacks, but Lamar Jackson's 21% of his passes so far this season have gone to running backs or a fullback. So I'm fine with both running backs on the team, but if you're playing showdown slates, just be careful about how you construct your roster, because it's not often that both running backs have ceiling games in the same game.
Yeah, and we saw the Cincinnati Bengals have 2 ceiling games against this Baltimore team last year. 41-17 in the first meeting, 41-21, I think the second one. Second game was without Lamar. Mentioned Chase went off in the first meeting. Higgins went off in the second. I think it was 194 and 2 touchdowns. I do think Baltimore is better with the revenge factor at home. I'm taking Baltimore to cover in a high-scoring game on Sunday Night Football. Going to take the over. I imagine that you agree on Baltimore. I know you said you're being a Baltimore fan, but I just think they're the better team.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with that. Sometimes you just have to let your bias shine for a little bit. But I think the over definitely feels fine. I feel like the Ravens, as much as there are defensive issues, they are getting healthier. And I feel like the Bengals are struggling just as much as the Ravens are at the minute. And at home, I'll just side with the home team in this.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow was one of the picks that I had on our Thursday Night Football show last week. He did hit his over in his passing yardage. I'm going with him again, over 272.5 passing. Baltimore's allowed 300 plus to everyone except Allen, surprisingly, similar to that Mahomes stat where every quarterback has thrown for 2 touchdowns against the Colts but Mahomes. But Burrow's also hit 275 plus in 3 of 4, and Mitch, we hit that over. So I'm going to stick with Burrow again this week over his passing yards in this one.